Napoli believed they found their next Diego, but their Kvaratskhelia vanished before the prophecy could come true. Now, in the heart of Paris, Khvicha Kvaratskhelia is searching for his magic again. But is it still there? The Georgian winger was once the unstoppable force behind Napoli's Scudetto triumph, a ghost in the final third who left defenders chasing shadows. But football is ruthless, and now under the bright lights of Parc des Princes, Kvaratskhelia faces a new challenge, one that could define his legacy. Is he still the game-changer everyone feared, or will the weight of expectation dim his brilliance? This is the scary truth about Khvicha Kvaratskhelia, the shift in his game, the struggles beneath the surface, and whether PSG's new number 7 can go on to surpass expectations. Stick around as we break it all down. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest stories in football. Now, if there's one thing Khvicha Kvaratskhelia knows how to do, it's grabbing headlines. Whether it's dazzling footwork, breathtaking goals, or match-winning performances, the 24-year-old has been a star attraction for both Napoli and the Georgian national team. But in January 2025, he made waves for a different reason, by shocking fans with a mid-season move to Paris Saint-Germain for a cool 70 million euros. The truth, though, is that it was always a matter of time before he left Italy for another European giant. Ever since he burst onto the scene in that unforgettable 2022-23 season when Napoli finally ended their near 30-year wait for a league title, it was clear he was destined for the top. The Georgian has come a long way from his hometown club. Before he was out tearing up defenses in Naples and Paris, Kvaratskhelia was putting in the work back home. Born and raised in Tbilisi, he joined Dynamo, Tbilisi's academy in 2012, and wasted no time making an impression. By 16, he was already making his senior debut and quickly establishing himself as one of the most exciting young prospects in the country. In fact, he was so good that by 2018, The Guardian had him on the prestigious list of the world's 60 best young players. That kind of talent doesn't go unnoticed. And so Rustavi, another Georgian club, snapped him up. And soon after, he got his first taste of football outside Georgia when he moved to Lokomotiv Moscow on loan in 2019. It turned out to be a smart move. He won the Russian Cup and showed he could compete at a higher level. And from there, the rise of Kvaratskhelia was only just getting started. The 6-foot winger would later put pen to paper on a 5-year deal with Rubin Kazan, making the permanent switch to the Russian top flight in 2019 at just 18 years old. And he wasted no time proving why he was worth the investment. In his debut season, he scooped up 4 Player of the Month awards, caught the attention of L'Equipe, which listed him among the top 50 players born in the 21st century, and saw his market value skyrocket. By the time the 2019-20 season wrapped up, Russian media were calling his signing the best piece of business Rubin Kazan had done in years. His value had multiplied 5 times in just one season, turning him into one of the hottest prospects in European football. But just when everything seemed to be going his way, the world around him came crashing down. The Russian invasion of Ukraine during the 2021-22 season changed everything. FIFA ruled that foreign players in Russia could suspend their contracts and move abroad without restrictions. Rubin Kazan, left with no choice, announced that Khvicha's contract had been terminated. Just like that, his time in Russia was over. With uncertainty hanging over his future, he returned home to Georgia, signing with Dynamo Batumi in March 2022 for the remainder of the season. But even in the middle of all that chaos, Kvaratskhelia wasn't about to slow down. Instead, he used his time in Georgia to remind everyone why he was one of the most exciting young players in the game. After making 11 appearances for Dynamo Batumi, Kvaratskelia's next move was the one that truly catapulted him into global stardom. In the summer of 2022, he joined Napoli on a long-term deal for a reported fee of just 10 to 12 million euros. A bargain when you consider that 3 years later, PSG splashed 70 million euros to get him. Some players take time to settle in a new league, but not Khvicha. When he first arrived, there wasn't much noise about him. But that changed quickly. In his very first unofficial game for Napoli, a friendly match, he made an instant impact, scoring 2 goals and assisting another. That performance caught the attention of fans, and the excitement around him started to build. He became the first player in Napoli's history to score 3 goals in his first 2 league games. His incredible start didn't go unnoticed, and he was named the Serie A Player of the Month for August. In just 2 matches, Kvaratskhelia showed his full range of skills by scoring a perfect hat-trick. 1 goal with his head, 1 goal with his left foot, and 1 with his right. It was a clear sign that he wasn't just a one-game wonder. And when Napoli's supporters give you a nickname that echoes the greatest Argentinian football player of all time, you know you're doing something special. They called him Kvaradona. That's right, a nod to the legendary Diego Maradona himself. And in Naples, that name carries more weight than anywhere else. Maradona didn't just play for Napoli, he transformed them. He led them to their only 2 Scudetto titles in 1986 and 87 and 1989 and 90s, delivered their only European trophy with the 1988-89 UEFA Cup, and became such an icon that after his passing in 2020, the club renamed their stadium, Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, in his honor. So what did Kvaratskhelia think about being compared to one of football's all-time greats? Obviously, I like the nickname. I can't come close to Maradona, but I will give everything to become a big player for this club. By the time March rolled around, he had already made history. He became the first player ever to score at least 10 goals and provide at least 10 assists in his debut Serie A season. But it wasn't just a Serie A milestone. He was the first player to reach that mark in their debut season across Europe's top 5 leagues since Diego did it for Werder Bremen all the way back in 2006-07, according to Opta. He ended his debut Serie A season as the league's top assist provider with 12, bagged 13 goals, and walked away with the Serie A MVP award. On the European stage, he continued to shine, recording 2 goals and 4 assists in the Champions League, earning himself the Champions League Young Player of the Season award. It was clear, Napoli had found their new superstar. The following season was anything but smooth sailing for Napoli. After the highs of their historic title win, things quickly unraveled. Luciano Spalletti, the mastermind behind their Scudetto triumph, left the club, while star striker Victor Osimhen had a well-publicized fallout with the club's management. On the pitch, Napoli struggled to replicate their form, tumbling down to a disappointing 10th place finish. As for Kvaratskhelia, he didn't quite hit the same heights as his debut season, but he was still one of Napoli's brightest sparks. He ended the Serie A campaign with 11 goals and 6 assists, but behind the scenes, cracks were beginning to show. His agent openly stated that the Georgian winger wanted to leave in the summer of 2024, signaling that his time in Naples might be coming to an end. Enter Antonio Conte. The fiery Italian coach was brought in to steady the ship, and one of his first tasks was convincing Kvaratskhelia to stay. Conte assured him that he had a plan to bring Napoli back to the top, and at least in the short term, it seemed to be working. By matchday 22, Napoli was leading the Serie A table, looking like genuine title contenders once again. But despite the turnaround, Kvaratskhelia wasn't convinced. While his numbers, 5 goals and 3 assists in 17 league games, weren't bad, something wasn't clicking for him. It all started to make sense when Conte dropped a bombshell. The Georgia winger had told him he wanted out in the winter transfer window, and this time, Napoli couldn't keep him. Well, you know the story now. Kvaratskhelia packed his bags and headed to Paris, sealing a $70 million Euro move to PSG. But let's be honest, nobody really questioned whether he was worth the hype or the fee. The numbers speak for themselves. Since arriving at Napoli in 2022, Kvaratskhelia was nothing short of a menace in Serie A. With 196 dribbles, no player competed more successful dribbles than him. He had the most touches in the opposition box with 491, created the second most chances, fired the second most shots, and also hit the target 94 times. Those are no doubt amazing numbers. And it's down to the fact that Kvaratskhelia is some sort of a throwback winger of old. He's got that old school out-and-out speed on the left flank, always looking to use his pace and power to his advantage. Unlike modern wingers who often cut inside to play intricate passes or slow the game down to pick out a perfect assist, Kvara isn't about that life. He's a direct runner, the kind of player who doesn't hesitate. Head down, full steam ahead. He just wants to take on his man and beat him, no matter what. It's almost like watching a freight train barreling toward the opposition defense, ready to bulldoze anything in its way. And that kind of relentless approach can be both thrilling and chaotic. Sometimes it works like a charm. He wins fouls, goes past defenders, and forces opponents to scramble. Other times, he runs straight into trouble, losing possession or getting crowded out. You get everything with this guy. And it's no surprise that PSG snapped him up mid-season. But are we overlooking something about his game? Did he make the right move by heading to Paris? And most importantly, can he handle the pressure of fighting for a place in a squad stacked with talent? Before we dive into that, how about you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already? Oh, I see you've done that. Good call. Now, let's talk about what the future holds for Kvaratskhelia. First, let's start with the good stuff. PSG are in the middle of a transformation. Under Luis Enrique, the club has shifted away from relying on elite superstars and built a young, hungry squad full of players eager to prove themselves on Europe's biggest stage. And since Kvaratskhelia arrived, they've been on fire. They're unbeaten in League One and even knocked out Liverpool at Anfield in the Champions League, with Kvara playing a key role in that success. But what's really exciting is how Enrique is using him. While his natural position is out on the left wing, Kvaratskhelia has shown his versatility, starting games as a false nine and even being deployed on the right at times. He's thriving in PSG colors, and the numbers back it up. Since joining, he's attempted 64 dribbles and successfully completed 32, the highest of any PSG player in that period. Clearly, he's making an impact, but the big question remains, can he sustain a regular start in the long run? The Georgian has started 11 of PSG's 14 matches across all competitions as of March, but he's only played the full 90 minutes in 4 of them. And that's because, unlike at Napoli, Enrique's PSG isn't built around Kvaratskhelia. He is an important player, sure, but he's not the main man. Why? Simple. PSG's attack is ridiculously stacked. Enrique has an absurd amount of firepower at his disposal, meaning he can rotate and rest players as he sees fit. And while that might be great for squad depth, it could also be a problem for Kvaratskelia's long-term career. Unlike at Napoli, where he was untouchable, he now has to compete with top-tier talents like Bradley Barcola, Desiree Doué, and the electric Ousmane Dembele, all of whom are fighting for the same attacking spots. And when you look at the numbers, they don't exactly scream undroppable. So far, Kvaratskhelia is averaging 0.57 goal contributions per 90 minutes. Not bad, but not world-class either. He scored 2 goals, though his expected goals suggest he should have at least 3, and he's chipped in with 3 assists. What makes this more concerning is that Enrique is actually giving him more of the ball than he had at Napoli. He's averaging 10 more passes per 90 minutes in Paris, which means he's getting more involved in build-up play. Yet, despite that, his output hasn't taken a massive leap. So the question is, can Kvaratskhelia step up and prove he's indispensable in this PSG setup, or is he at risk of becoming just another talented piece in Enrique's ever-rotating attack? But it's not like everything has gone wrong for Kvaratskhelia at PSG. Since his mid-season arrival, he's shown glimpses of what he's capable of. Some might even argue that his numbers and limited game time suggest he's been one of the team's most effective playmakers. In just 758 minutes across all competitions, Kvara leads the squad in expected assists per 90 minutes with 0.52, outpacing Barcola and Doué. He's also at the top when it comes to completed through balls per match, shot-creating actions, and successful dribbles, beating out both Doué and Dembele. On top of that, he's drawing the most fouls per 90 minutes and ranks second in goal-creating actions per game, just behind Doué. These are positive signs. They show that he's getting involved in the attack and trying to make things happen. But the real question is, what happens if those numbers don't translate into big moments when PSG needs them most? At Napoli, Kvaratskhelia was a fan favorite. Every dribble, every goal, every piece of magic he produced was met with unconditional love from the supporters. But Paris is a different beast entirely. PSG is a club where expectations are sky high and the pressure never lets up. The fans, the media, and even the dressing room demand results consistently. Just ask Neymar, Messi, or even Mbappe. One bad game and the critics start sharpening their knives. For a player like Kvara, who thrives on confidence and freedom, this kind of environment can be challenging. The question isn't just whether he has the talent, he's already shown that he does. It's whether he can handle the pressure that comes with playing for PSG. Another battle the Georgian might be fighting soon enough is within himself. He has always thrived on freedom, on being the wild card who plays off instinct. But in a team like PSG, where every player has a specific role and expectations are sky high, he can't afford to be just raw talent anymore. Does he adapt and refine his game, sacrificing a bit of that unpredictability to become more efficient? Or does he continue to play the way that made him a star? Even if it means inconsistency, finding that balance is crucial. Some players, like Neymar in his early PSG days, managed to blend creativity with output. Others, like Angel Di Maria, evolved into tactical assets without losing their flair. Kvaratskhelia has the tools to follow in their footsteps, but can he? If he masters this transformation, he could become one of the most dangerous wingers in world football. If not, he risks being another player who had all the talent but never quite made the leap to the very top. Do you think Kvaratskhelia will thrive under PSG pressure, or will he struggle to adapt to the demands of a superstar team? More importantly, does he have what it takes to become truly world-class, or will he always be a level below the best? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn notifications on so you never miss an upload. And don't go anywhere. Stick around because we've got another juicy football breakdown in the next video.